right, welcome to Earth Science. One more. You've almost made it. Good job. Rate of change problems. I'm promising one, and I'm promising that it will look almost exactly like this. It'll be a different problem, right? But it really is going to be the same concept. Now, these have been of varying quality as I've done the labs, and I probably should have front-loaded the specifics a little bit more. It was in one video, but I'm not sure that everybody was tuned in. So now, before the end, get your 10 points. This will be 10 full points. I think I calculated how to do it with 10 points. We'll see. I'll tell you. Here's what they look like. Calculate the rate of change. As soon as you see that, you got to know that this is what we're doing. And if you say, Mr. F, I'm not here to remember equations, ESRT, page 1. It's sitting right there. There's 4 equations that we need in our science. That's one of them in the little equations box on the front page. So don't memorize it. You don't have to. Change in value divided by time. If you've been in a car, there's a little dial that tells you your rate of change in miles per hour. How many miles do you go every hour? That's a rate of change. If you drove 120 miles and it took you 2 hours, you were going 60 miles per hour on average. We've done this like a whole bunch of times, probably to the point where you're sick of it, in degrees per minute for the rate of changes on all of those timed experiments. What I need, though, is setups and labels. That's where I think we've been lacking. So let's say that this were the question that were given to us. Calculate the rate of change from 2000 to 2010 of the average carbon dioxide concentrations in parts per million per year. So here's what we would do. I look at this table right here from 2000 to 2010, which is right down here at the bottom. They're not even going to make us use the whole table. Just the bottom here. It went from 370 to 390. So what was the change in value? That is 20. Sorry, using the pad on the Chromebook's a lot harder than using the mouse. That's my change in value. 20 what? Don't forget the units, this unit, and if it sounds weird to you, don't worry about it. Just write it. It's ppm, parts per million, which is a unit of like how much of something there is in something else. That's a weird way to say it, but like how many of the parts that make up the atmosphere, how many of those are carbon dioxide? Well, that is changed by 20 parts per million. That's my change in value. And divide that by time. How long is it from 2000 to 2010? That is 10 years. Now, these are all going to be points on the test. Let's see how I can make 10 points out of this. Let's see how long it takes me to write the word years with the pad. That's not even a... That's not even a letter. How about YRS? That's a good... All right. Then I grab a calculator. I run some numbers. 20 divided by 10. I just grab my calculator and it tells me that the answer is 2. But what I'm going to need over here is a label. I'm going to switch to the text box so that it doesn't take me 10 years. ppm, and then another text box right here per year. But you need the line there too, so I'll do that. Okay. So the rate of change, the speed at which this change is 2 parts per million per year. Okay. 2 ppm per year. And the label really is if you set up your problem, which is why we teachers bust your chops about setting up the problem, the label's right here. If you're like confused by some weird label like ppm that you've never seen before and you don't know what it is, you don't have to worry about it. If you write this properly, the answer's sitting right there for you. So if you would like 10 free points, essentially, because this is, I think, a very easy problem. It's just like litigious. It's just taking the steps and going through it. So if you want 10 points, how can we do it? 1 point for that number, 2 for the label, 3 for that number, 4 for the label, 5 is an equal sign, 6 for that number, 7 for that label, 8 for drawing that line, and 2 because you're a good person. How about that? Okay. What will be wrong, just straight up, I mean, here's the answers I'm seeing on the lab. I pull up a lab and somebody writes 2. There's nothing I can do with that. That's not the answer. This is the answer right here. Okay. Even more wrong is that some people will tell me 20. That's how much it changed by, but that's like not even half the problem. Okay, so 10-point answer. Take your time, get your points, get your results on this test. Would be to write all of the steps down, just like it is in the equation here. Change in value divided by time. Change in value divided by time equals an answer with a label. All right, you got it. You can nail it. Good luck. We'll see you Friday. And Thursday, probably, but Friday for the test.